Politics on Capitol Hill are constantly dominating our national headlines, and this morning we are joined by one of Arkansas's congressmen, Representative Tim Griffin, to help give us a better understanding of some of the questions that you have been asking us on our Facebook page over the last few minutes. Thank you so much for coming in this morning. We appreciate it. You just got back from Afghanistan. You were there over the Memorial Day weekend to spend some time with some of our troops. Talk about your time there and why you wanted to head over there.
Well, I'm on the Armed Services Committee, and we deal with issues relating to Afghanistan and Iraq a lot, and so they encourage us to get over there if we haven't been. I served in Iraq. I had never been to Afghanistan, so this was a priority for me, and a number of members of Congress went over Memorial Day weekend, and we got to travel around the country, see different parts, and meet with folks from all different services. General Petraeus gave us a briefing. We met with a lot of the division commanders who gave us briefings on how things are going in their regions, and got to share some meals with some Arkansans. As I was telling you earlier, I was flown around in a C-130 from Little Rock Air Force Base, and had two pilots from Little Rock. So it was good to touch base with them and visit with the troops. I came away concluding basically that certainly we can't stay there indefinitely. We can't afford to for a whole host of reasons. But I also understand that we can't leave today. We are starting the drawdown. It is going to be, we're certainly moving toward a drawdown, a permanent drawdown. But to just up and leave all of our people leave today would be the wrong thing to do. We've got to leave Afghanistan, not like Switzerland, but we need to leave it at least good enough where they can defend themselves so that we don't have to end up back there several years from now. So it's a tough deal, and I know a lot of people are have fatigue and are sort of tired of it. But we have to remember why we're there. We're not there just because it's a poor country we want to help. We're there because it was a breeding ground for terrorism, and we just need to make sure that we put a system in place where Afghanistan can defend themselves.
You had the opportunity to speak with many troops that are on the ground from Arkansas. How are they doing? How are their spirits?
Incredible. And I've seen this throughout my career. I'm still serving as a reservist in the Army. I've been in 15 years, and I can tell you that it never ceases to amaze me. Great attitudes. They were excited to get to visit, and we shared actually dinner on two occasions with two different groups of Arkansans, some of them from the Army, some of them from the Air Force, and I never hear any complaining. It's always a positive attitude. And the bottom line is they're professionals. Folks, whether they like being there or not, that's not the issue. They're given a mission and they do it. And they do it with a smile. And they do a great job. And so, but they really appreciated to see somebody from back home.
Oh, I'm sure.
And so it was really neat.
Congressman, I want to ask you about Anthony Weiner, the congressman who has confessed to sending these lewd photos of women and himself on the internet. What are your thoughts on that? I know that you've run into him several times. Nancy Pelosi is calling on an ethics commission to investigate. What are your thoughts?
Well, I guess it would have been better if he would have just told the truth from the start. That's what we teach our kids, and that's a good rule to try to adhere to. I think ultimately whether he resigns is between him and his constituents. The last time I heard, he's not going to resign. But he's recently married, from what I've heard, and
bottom line, tell the truth though. I mean, we look up to you guys. So.
Well, yeah, it's a tough situation, but I tell you who it's toughest on is not the political side of it, but his family.
Yes.
He's recently married, my understanding, and that's got to be tough. So, anyway.
Congressman, really quick, we're almost out of time, but I wanted to talk to you about the debt ceiling really quick.
Sure.
Wes Taylor wants to know what cuts do you believe that need to be taken so our debt just doesn't continue to go downhill?
Sure. Well, we're going to have to deal with both sides of the federal budget. We have what's called discretionary spending, which is the spending that's renewed every year. Then we have the long-term mandatory spending like Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security. We need to protect those programs, but we've got to reform them because they're on the way to bankruptcy now. I think we're going to have some serious cuts in the budget so that we can sustain our quality of life. And I don't know exactly where that number is going to be, but I can tell you I haven't seen a serious enough proposal from anyone yet that I could vote for. And the no vote, not raise the debt ceiling a week ago, was overwhelmingly bipartisan. I think 80-something Democrats joined the Republicans. So I think there are a lot of people in both parties who are concerned about this. Certainly I'm concerned about the debt ceiling, but I'm also concerned about having a $14 trillion debt. So what specific number? We'll have to see. We won't negotiate on television, but I haven't seen anything serious enough to vote for yet.
Okay, we will keep an eye on it. Tim Griffin, thank you so much for coming in this morning. We appreciate it. Stay with us. Your time right now is 6:55. We'll be right back.